Okay, everybody, welcome back. All right, so here I'm going to go into my card evaluation streams. So, here is basically my valuation here. If you're a 7-star card, you're way too powerful, you should be banned from Arena. 6-star card, like, you're too powerful for Arena, but, like, really, you should be nerfed for Arenas. You probably shouldn't be in Arena, but it's like, okay. 5 stars, this is a class-defining card. This is, like, a great card you always want to pick. 4-star cards here. These are cards that can swing the game if you play them. They're, again, cards you want to pick. 3 stars, these are going to be like the backbone of your deck. They're going to be the above average for your mana cost. You want these cards as most of your cards in your deck. 2 cards, these are average cards. You take these cards just because you need to fill a hole or something like that. Number 1, these are bad 1-star cards. These are bad cards that have like a situational upside, maybe. And then a 0-star card, basically a never pick. So, I'm going to sort these, let me see here. Filter. All right, I'm going to sort. I have them sorted going in descending order by. For neutrals, I have them by rarity, and then for the class cards, I'll just show because it's like 10 class cards here. All right. So going over the cards, starting with descending rarity. All right, first one here, Stoneborn General. So with Stoneborn General, it's a 10 mana, 8/8 rush, death rattle, summon another 8/8 with rush, basically. So, is it a strong card? Yes, definitely. Like, here you got the Gravewing here, which is, I think, what transforms into or something like that. So, it's got a few problems. Number 1, it's 10 mana. 10 mana is a lot. I mean, it's got the value for 10 mana, but 10 mana is a lot. Number 2, like the rush effect here, with an 8/8 rush, I'm not saying that is a bad effect. But I think some people are kind of valuing it because you think you might be able to clear off 2 things. And being honest with this thing, I don't like. There's not that much that has 8 attack that you want to trade this into. So it's basically an 8/8 rush that kills something, and that would be like an 8 mana card. And then your opponent gets to deal with it, and your opponent gets to handle it. So like that's why I don't have it really, really high. Like, again, this is probably like the best comment in the set. You're going to see this all the time. Like, you would take this over, like, but the mana cost and the fact that it's kind of slow to get the value, the fact that just because of those facts, I can't really go that high on it. So I say it's like as I said here, it's a 4-star plus card. It's definitely a good card, but I wouldn't say it's a great card. Like, it's not like one of those like game-breaking cards. All right. Next one here, other 4-star cards. So the first one here is we've got Forensic Duster. If I can pull it up here. Battlecry, your opponent's minions cost 1 more next turn. So the effect, like, okay, maybe your opponent can just play a spell. That's fine. Maybe your opponent can play a location, anything like that. That's fine. But this is kind of like a mini Lotheb effect. So if you remember, like Lotheb was a 5 mana 5/5. Make your opponent's mana spells cost 5 more. And in a certain situation, like, you could play that and you could just zone your opponent out. So Forensic Duster, make your opponent's minions cost 1 more. Like, you play this on turn going into your opponent's turn 4. Your opponent wants to play a 4-drop. Now they can't play a 4-drop. They've just played a 3-drop. It's probably likely they don't have another 3-drop. So you've got situations like that where you just completely ruin the opponent's turn. Or your opponent, they can't play a 4-drop, so they want to play like 2 2-drops maybe. But wait, they can't play 2 2-drops because each 2-drop costs 3 mana. You play this in the mid-game. Maybe your opponent wants to empty their hand. They can't do that because each small card they want to play costs 1 more. So you can see there are a lot of situations where you can just massively screw over your opponent with this card. So for me, that's why I have it as 4. All right, Sketchy Stranger. Stranger here. Battlecry, discover a secret from another class. It's a 2 mana 2/2 that gives you a card. So secrets, like, you have the 4 classes. You have Mage, Rogue, Hunter, and Paladin. So probably don't want the Paladin one. So you're probably taking the Mage one, maybe the Rogue or the Hunter ones as well. But 2 mana 2/2 discover card. That's just good value. That's a 4-star. That is a 4-star card. All right. Moving on here. See, okay, Muck Plumber. You see here, Muck Plumber here. 5 mana, 5/5. All minions cost 2 more. This is an aura effect. So I have it up here as a high 3-star card for a very similar reason that I had Forensic Duster as a 4-star card. So the reason for this is that you play this, and your opponent has to play something. So your opponent, if you play this on turn 5, your opponent can't play a 5-drop. They can't even play a 4-drop. They play a 3-drop. So you have to play this. So you get to play this, and then you get to play, like, let's say it's 6 mana. You get to play a 4-drop or something like that. So you generally play this to kind of zone out your opponent, and because it's a persistent effect, if they cannot remove it, they're always going to be kind of like behind tempo on you. And most likely, you're going to be the one that can control when this effect goes off, when you trade this in to cancel this effect. So not only, like, if you play this and your opponent kills it with minions on board, I guess that's fine. If you play this, your opponent can't kill this, you'll generally be ahead on tempo because you've got a 5/5 and they've only been able to play 3 or 4 mana's worth of stuff. And by the time they can play, and you can probably protect it, you can probably do things where you can keep it alive. So overall, I think it's a high 3-star card just because it can screw your opponents over. All right. Maze Guide. All right, so there's a ton of 3-star cards here. All right, Maze Guide. 2 mana, 1/1, summon a random 2-cost minion. Even if you get like a 2/2 out of this, then you're getting 3/3 worth of stats. Now, you might just get a Maze Guide. A Maze Guide might summon a Maze Guide, and that'll suck. But for the most part, you're going to get at least 3/3, maybe even like a 4/3 or something like that. So, good card, 3 stars. Syn Runner. Death Rattle, destroy a random enemy minion. So it's a 5 mana card, fair stats, with a deadly shot attached to it. So why is it only 3 stars? Because we already have a card that has a very similar effect in. And this is a card way back when from Forged in the Barrens called Razormane Raider. Where's the Razormane? So Razormane Raider, 5 mana, 5/6, Frenzy, attack a random enemy. So dealing 5 damage to a random enemy is like really, really strong. So with the Razormane Raider, that's very similar to this Death Rattle. Because the Razormane Raider, you have to be really, really, really proactive to deal with it, or you could just do something to activate it immediately. So if you go back to the Syn Runner, I think Syn Runner is comparable in what it can do. Or is it? Get back to Syn Runner. Okay, again, I think it's comparable because the Death Rattle destroy a random enemy minion. On your opponent's side, you basically just kind of like force them to make safe trades. So it's like, it's strong, but it's one of these controlled things where, because it's so controlled, I don't really think that in Arena it's going to be all that great. We've had cards like this in Arena, and you can just play a bunch of small stuff and make the Death Rattle kind of irrelevant. So, I mean, we've had enough experience that I can't say, like, it's good value for the stats, but I can't really say it's great. So I'd say 3-star card. All right, next one, Bog Beast. 6 mana, 3/6, Death Rattle, summon a 2/4 Muck Mare with Taunt. It's basically Sludge Belcher for the new meta. So instead of a 5 mana, 3/5, summon a 1/2, 6 mana, 3/6, summon a 2/4 with double Taunt. Again, good for infused stuff, good for slowing down the game, perfect for like what I talked about. So 3-star card. All right, Stoneborn Accuser. There's Stoneborn Accuser. Excuse me. Here. 5 mana, 5/5, infuse 5, gain Battlecry, deal 5 damage. 5 mana, 5/5. That's basically a 2-star card. So infuse 5. That does take a while. So, like, I am punishing it. But if you have the infused card, this is just a better Fire Elemental. And Fire Elemental is like a 6-star card. So this would be a 7-star card. This is one of those cards where it's like, it's a 7-star card if it goes off. And it will go off. It'll just take a long time to get there. So it's kind of like when you put them together, like the times where you have to play it as a 5/5, the times when you have to hold on to it. I just think ultimately it's a 3-star card. Like this will, people will get upset about this. People will get upset losing about this, about having this played on turn 5, because this is the kind of card where you keep it in your opening hand if you have it. Just if you have it, just because of how powerful that effect is on turn 5. But again, ultimately 3-star card. Okay, next one, Murlocula. Murlocula is a, where is it? 4 stars. 4 star. 4 mana, 3/4 life with lifesteal. Infuse 4. This costs 0. I just realized that Murlocula has the Morbius, like the Blizzard, the Blizzard flavor text people. Like they're pretty on point because it's got the Morbius stuff going on. All right. Anyways, so 4 mana, 3/4 lifesteal, the infused. Why do I have it this rate high? Because there's another card called Nerubian Prophet, which I'm not going to bother pulling it up, but it was in Mean Streets of Gadget Stand. It was a 6 mana 4/4 where each turn it was in your hand, it cost 1 less. And the card had its value in basically 2 situations. Number 1, being a 3 mana 4/4 if you played it on turn 3, if you held it in your opening hand from turn 3. And number 2, being able to tempo it out as a 0 mana 4/4 in the mid to late game. So for this, infuse 4, that's going to happen. And then you get to tempo this out as a 0 mana 3/4, and that's powerful. 3-star level. All right, Priest of the Deceased. Three mana 2/3 taunt, infuse 3, gain 2/2. Okay, 3 mana 2/3 taunt. That's 2 stars. Infuse 3. You need 3 things to die. You basically get a 2 mana 4/4. 2 mana 4/5. Sorry. And again, that's really good. You have to wait for the infuse on it, but I mean that's definitely a good card. That's a 3-star value. Okay, Masked Reveller. Here. 6 mana 4/4 rush. Death Rattle. Summon a 2/2 copy of another minion in your deck. All right. So this is what Mothership would be if Mothership was a fair card. So like I think people are negative on it because like they're comparing it to just it's much worse than Mothership, but overall it's a good card. Like 4 mana 4/4 rush, that's fair. 2/2 copy of minion in your deck, that's also fair. Special note: if you're Shaman, this is something that's actually pretty good for you because you have a lot of evolve synergy, so you can use evolve on the 2/2 and you can get a lot of extra value on it. So pay attention to that. But otherwise, it has 2 effects for infuse. It's removal. It plays something on the board. Like all of that is fine for me. And it's reliable. So that's a 3-star card. All right, Dinner Performer. 3 mana 2/3 battle cry. Summon a random minion from your deck that you can afford to play. So obviously this is not a 3-drop. You play this on you probably do not play this until turn 5 or turn 6 or anything like that. But basically, the later in the game you go, the better this gets. And again, you summon the minions, so you get a lot of stats from it. So sometimes you're going to summon a 1-drop. Even if you summon a 1-drop, that's basically 3 mana 3/4. Sometimes, like you play this turn 8, you summon a 5-drop. So you get a free 5-drop out of it. So the vast majority of the time that you play this in the mid to late game, you're going to get a lot more stats than you would expect from 3 mana. That's good. That's a 3-star card. All right, Anonymous Informant. If I can pull, where's this one here? Next secret you play costs 0. So in secret classes, this gets a buff. So like in Mage, this is a 3-star card. Hunter, Paladin, and Rogue, you might have secrets. So and then you can negate this. This is good value for those. Other classes, it's just 2 mana 2/3. So this doesn't trigger this at blood. This doesn't have to trigger this turn. It can trigger any turn well into the future. So that makes it extremely useful. But we already have a mage card that has a very, very similar effect. I forget the set that it was in. I want to say, okay, I forgot to say. There is a mage 2-mana card where the next fire spell that you cast costs, all right, okay, 1 second here, pulling it up here. Mage, 2 mana. Where is it? Here, Prester's Pyromancer. This is I want to say it's a very similar thing. So your next fire spell has +2 spell damage. So you're going to have a lot more fire spells in your deck than you are secrets. And I would argue at some point having +2 damage on a fire spell means that you can kill a minion you wouldn't be able to, and that might even be better than getting a 0-mana secret out. So it's like if you're comparing the two cards, which one's really better? Like this one, if the effect goes off, then it's better for the for the informant. Like if the effect goes off, but you have to wait a long time for the effect. The mage one, it's quicker and it's more reliable, and it might actually do more for you. So overall, I just think that, let me get back here to neutral. So overall, it's an effect that looks real strong, but we have evidence that it's not going to be that strong. So ultimately, it's just a 3-star card. All right, Roosting Gargoyle. Battlecry, give a friendly beast +2 attack. So it's 3 mana, 2/3. That's great. That's fine for a 2-star card. Give a friendly beast 2 attack. Hunters and druids have beasts. This gets a buff for them. Other classes will have beasts on occasion. It gets a minor buff for them. So overall, solid card. And it's like borderline. It's borderline 3 stars. I'll change this here. All right, so sorry. It's like a borderline 3-star cards for Druid and Hunter, and then the other classes, it's just like a mild buff. All right, now going into the 2-star cards. These are like the average cards, the cards you take to fill out things. All right, Dredger Staff. Where is that? Dredger Staff. 1 mana, 1/2. Battlecry. Give minions in your hand +1 health. I compare this to a 1 mana 1/3. Is it better than 1 mana 1/3? Yes, it is. Is it better than a Yeti? No, it isn't. So, like, this is useful. You'll take it. Like, you'll be fine taking this and having it trigger and infuse while making trades harder for your opponent. I think all that's fine. So, again, I think high 2-star card. Red Herring. 7 mana, 3/12 taunt. Your non-red herring minions have stealth. So, the effect. So remember when I was talking about how one of the ways to deal with like these delayed value cards is to rush down your opponent. This is a great way to rush down your opponent. If you have a board, you play this, and your minions there have stealth. Your opponent can't interact with. They have to kill the red herring. So in those situations where you're rushing down your opponent and you force them to throw 12 damage into something to protect your other stuff, yes, that's really good. Is it great stats for the cost? Like, it's fine. Like, again, I can't give it that much because there's going to be plenty of times where it does nothing. There's going to be plenty of times where it just gets eaten up on board. It gets transformed. It gets flipped. There's so many different ways you could remove it, and the effect isn't that great. But again, 2-star card. Just it's a card you will take, and it's a card that'll be fine. All right, Scuttlebutt Ghoul. Valued higher in, okay, if you control a secret, summon a copy of this. So if you control a secret, you get 2 2/5 taunts. Like, that's how long can this go on? What's that one? How long can this go on? Why can I not remember that one? Okay, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's the Serenite Chain Gang. The card from Knights of the Frozen Throne. So, but you have to control a secret. That means you have to play a secret. Your opponent has to not trigger it, and then you have to have it up for this, or you have to play this with the secret on the same turn. So is that going to happen? We have enough experience. That's pretty difficult to happen. Even in the secret classes, it won't happen that much, so I can't really go high on it because of that. Last one here, Volatile Skeleton. 2 mana, 2/2, Death Rattle, deal 2 damage to a random enemy. We know deal damage to a random enemy, especially because it can go face. That's really a mediocre effect. So it's a below average 2-drop with a RNG effect that is just, honestly, it's not really that much better than a regular 2-drop. So that's 2 stars. And then finally, rounding off the commons here. What have we got? We've got 1 star here, Creepy Painting. After another minion dies, become a copy of it. So, my issue here is this. This is too hard to use. This is too hard to set up. It's not worth it for what happens. Because it could just become a 1-drop, it could just become a 2-drop, it could just be you play this on an empty board and your opponent kills this for free. It's not worth it for me. It's like borderline 1 star. Might be better than that in the right deck or the right person. I'm not even going to try. And then finally, for the commons, we have Sinstone Totem. 1 mana, 0/3. At the end of your turn, gain 1 health. So it's 1-drop. It has no attack. It doesn't do anything. Maybe if you've got buffs, you can use it. Just don't take it. 0-star card. It does nothing. All right. Okay, so those are the commons. So now the rares, the epics, the legendaries, there's a lot fewer of them, so we will go through those quickly. All right. So going through the rares, best one here. Famished Fool, 5 mana, 3/5, battlecry, draw a card. Infuse, draw 3 instead. 5 mana, 3/5, draw a card, that's fair. Like, it's not good, but it's fair. Infuse 4, draw 3, that's insane. That's really, really, really good. That's why I have it as a 4-star card. So basically the infuse is easy enough to trigger. You want to hold it for the infuse, but it's good enough on its own where you could play this and it'd be like a 2-star card, 5 mana, 3/5 draw card, basically. All right, next one, Invitation Courier. Here, 3 mana, 3/4. After card is added to your hand from another class, copy it. Rogues and priests have the ability to take advantage of this. Like, you have to play it on the same turn, so that's useful. Takes a little bit too much of a setup there to do. So like I'm giving them a few points, but not that much. For everyone else, it's a 3 mana, 3/4, perfectly fine. That's a 3-star card, for, like borderline 3-star card for them, like what a Spider Tank would be. Dispossessed Soul. If you control location, discover a copy of a card in your deck. So locations, they're all rare. So you need to have 1 rare card on the board. Then you need to have this in order for it to go off. I don't think that's going to happen. Like, it's like a Yeti. Yeti is like a low 3-star card. This is a low 3-star card as well. That's just basically it. Crooked Cook. At the end of your turn, if you dealt 3 or more damage to the enemy hero, draw a card. So, 2 mana, 1/4. That's mediocre. But the effect, you can get it off. You can coin out a 3/2 and then play this and draw a card. It kind of has soft taunt. You can put this behind other minions, and you can just continually hit the face to draw cards from this at the end of your turn. Like, there is an engine for it, so I do think it's a decent card. I think low 3-star card. Finally, Steam Cleaner for the other rares. 5 mana, 5/5, battlecry, destroy all cards in both players' decks that didn't start there. So this is basically a constructed hard tech counter. That's the reason that this card exists. In Arena, it's a 5/5. That's a 2-star card. All right, going on to epics. Insatiable Devourer. 9 mana, 4/4. This is one of the first cards that like everybody freaked out about. Battlecry, devour an enemy minion, gain stats, infuse, and its neighbors. Okay, why is this not a 7-star card? Why is this not Dragnaros, the Blackwing Devourer or whatever? Why is this not Abominable Lieutenant? Why is it not like that level? Well, the reason is because it's just a one-time effect. This is kind of like it's a better Twin Tyrant. I'll say that. It's a better Twin Tyrant It comes out later. You're probably going to get more stats from Twin Tyrant. You're probably going to do a lot more damage from it because you get to control it. You get to do the AoE. So it's a better Twin Tyrant that's really good, but it's just one minion. There's enough ways in all the classes where you can just get rid of it, or you can stall it, you can execute it, you can transform it, you can devolve it, you can use the paladin stuff, change its health. So it's it's a lot of value, and again, Infuse 5, not that hard to go off. So really, really, really good, but it's epic. So ultimately for me, I'm saying 6 stars, which is really, really, really good. Should not be in Arena. Probably will get banned from Arena, but I don't think it reaches that, just like provides so much value that it wins the game on its own. All right, other cards here. Next one here, we've got Party Crasher. Party Crasher, 8 mana, 7/9. Battle cry, choose an enemy minion. Throw a random minion from your hand at it. So this basically is battle cry. Give a random minion in your hand rush and make it cost 0 mana. And if it has rush, then it gets Wind Fury. Because I'm assuming that takes the minion, it attacks the enemy, and then it goes onto the board. So you can control this pretty well. Like if you have this, you can dump out the small cards in your hand pretty well, so that you can set up that even if you can get like maybe even like a 5-drop off of this. Now there are situations where you've got like really strong battlecry cards that you do not want to play with this, and that will be a negative. But there are situations where you need this to hit something, and you need it to hit a specific thing, and it doesn't, and you get screwed by it. But overall, it's a fairly statted 8 mana card that's probably going to do a lot of damage and probably put a body on the board at the cost of one of the cards in your hand. I think ultimately that's a 4-star card. I think that's a good card. You will want to take it. Syn Golem. So 7 mana, 2/2. Infuse 3. Gain stats equal to the attack of the minions that infused this. Alright, so here's the deal. So the attack of the minions that infused this. So the problem with this is, number one, if you top deck this, it's complete garbage. Number two, like, you need the infuse to go off, and you don't really have control over it. This is not a card you keep in your opening hand. You never keep this in your opening hand. So it's something you have to top deck. Then you need to trade off your stuff in order to make it the Super Golem here. Which, again, that can be silenced, that can be transformed. And the Golem, it's just a block of stats. Like a 7 mana 10/10, is that really? Like, okay, let's say you get 3 attack each time. So you get a 7 mana 11/11. That does nothing. That's, I mean, that's not bad, but it's not really enough in Modern Arena. And again, you have to wait on it. So there's like enough drawbacks on this, especially being an absolutely horrible top deck, that I can't really go more than 2 stars on it. Okay. Ashen Elemental. Second here. Battle card. Whenever your opponent draws a card next turn, they take 2 damage. You're playing an understated 3-drop to deal a moderate amount of damage. This card exists because it is a Demon Hunter counter, basically. It's to stop Demon Hunter from drawing like 20 cards in one turn, because they'll just kill themselves if they do this. Or it stops Warlocks from doing this. So it's kind of like, it's designed to be a counter for those classes. Overall, for Arena, 3 mana, 2/4, deal 2 face, maybe deal 4 face. Like, not worth it. Just bad. Just 2 stars, low 2 stars. Demolition Renovator. 4 mana, 4/4, battle cry, destroy an enemy location. So, location tech. Problem with this card is that your opponent needs to have locations and they're rares, which there's only like 1 rare, which is not guaranteed to happen. So 99% of the time, it's just a 4 mana 4/4, which is bad. Sometimes you can screw over your opponent's location, but it's not really worth it to reach on it for like that 1% of the time. And then finally, we've got the Legendaries here. Alright, Legendary Sir Nathria. Lifesteal, deal 5 damage Split a 10-mana 10/10 life steal. Battle cry, deal 5 damage split across enemies, endlessly infused, deal 1 more. So, okay, basically, this is kind of like a moderate Cthulhu here. You keep this in your opening hand. This is a 5-star card. It's just a great card. It's a board clear. It's a giant minion. It has life steal, so you can't really ignore it. You get you can deal face damage as well with it. The endlessly infuse is like really strong because you get that immediate damage and healing from it. So overall, just a great card in that sense. It's a 5-star legendary. There's legendaries that do more than this, but just for the immediate board impact, that's why it's 5. Murloc Holmes. Solve 3 clues about your opponent's cards to get copies of them. So, the 3 clues, if I'm remembering correctly, clue number 1 is what was in your opponent's opening hand. If you paid attention, you should know what that is 100%. So what you got to do is clue 2. What cards are in your opponent's hand right now? Clue 3. What cards are in your opponent's deck? You can generally work out what's in your opponent's hand by thinking about cards that, if they had this card, would they have played this, yes or no? So I think clue 2 is solvable. Clue 3, it's just RNG, but you also have to remember that if they say what is in, let's see here. All right, so here, okay, so I'm actually thinking about this, and it might actually be better than I thought it was. So what I don't know is, for example, if clue 1 gives you 2 cards that are not cards that were in your opponent's hand, would those cards be cards that were in your opponent's deck, or would they be random cards? So, like, for example, if you see a Sinstone Totem, and this is something where I don't know and I need to play with the card, and if it works like this, then the card goes up in value because it's a lot easier to solve. But like, for example, if you see the first one, what card was in your opponent's opening hand? If it gives you random cards, then it's going to give you random garbage as well. It'll give you Sinstone Totems. It'll give you the paintings. So if you see those cards, then it's easier to solve, because you can just like filter out, okay, this garbage card would not be in their deck. But on the other hand, let's say like Murloc Holmes, you know whatever card was in their opening hand and the 2 other cards, and those were cards in their deck, and then you see that card repeated for the 3rd clue, then you have evidence from like the first 2 clues which you can use to potentially solve the 3rd clue, because you know those 2 cards are in your opponent's deck, but they weren't in the opening hand. So that means, like, if you see that card, you're like, maybe that probably is in the deck. So, because, all right, so basically, I don't know how good this is going to be, like, in the sense of how the mechanics work. I do think you're going to be able to solve for the 3, I do think you'll be able to solve the 3 clues more often than you think. Like, I calculated on my, my document, that's maybe like about 20 to 30%, give or take. It might actually be higher than that, depending upon your deduction skills. So, as I said, a lot better than the 3-drop. It's a 4-drop. I'm not sure if it goes up to a 5-drop, depending upon how good it is. But, like a 5-star, sorry, I'm not 4-star card. I'm not sure if it goes up to 5-star cards, but I really do like this card. And I really want to see how it plays out. Okay. Keep going, just 3 more here. Kalethos, Syn Runner. Every 3rd minion you play this turn causes 0. Alright, you get small things to play. You get things like the boars from the one thing. The 2/2 that gives you like the 2/1/1 boars. You get small tokens like that you can play. So I think like you play Kalethos plus a 2-drop, and then you can play any minion. You can play giant minion for 0 mana. So ultimately, with this, I think the effect is strong enough that you can get it off on. It's a strong enough effect where you can get a massive tempo swing off on it. And so that's why I'm rating it as a 3-star card. Like, because I do think it will go off. All right. Next one here, Prince Renethal. Your deck size and starting health are 40 mana, or 40. This goes up in value. I don't think this is going to be in Arena. If Arena, you only get like, there is a case where this could be really, really good. And that's if it's in the Arena pool and you still only draft 30 cards, right? But because you have this in your Arena deck, it makes your starting health 40. So in that case, it would go up. I'm just going to assume it's either going to not work or it's going to be it's either going to be banned or it's not going to work. And in that case, it's a 3-drop. So that's why it's a low 3-star card. And finally, Theotar, the Mad Duke. Discover a card in each player's hand and swap them. This is basically constructed anti-combo tech that you want to use. In Arena, like, maybe you get to upgrade one of your cards with one of the opponent's cards. You get to trade one of your garbage for one of their cards, and that's useful enough that, okay, you can kind of justify it. But then there's also the case where your opponent, you just get garbage from your opponent, you have to give up something good from yourself. So, I would say not worth it, not reliable enough. I would just say a 2-star card. All right, that is all the neutrals. When I come back, I'm going to do Demon Hunter, Druid, and Hunter together. So I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.